Morning, children. So, the last class we discussed about the fractions, in which the definition of the fractions and examples, and the fractions they are represented on a number line. And after these things, we also solve the exercise 7.1. After this discussion, now I am going to continue the classes, that is types of fractions and their examples. See, let us listen to the types of fraction. Types of fractions. See, fractions are classified into basically three types. One is proper fraction. Proper fraction. Here, for example, 1 by 2, 3 by 4, 5 by 7, dash dash dash, etc. See, observing these three examples, here the numerator is 1, denominator is 2, numerator is 3, denominator is 4, numerator is 5, denominator is 7. From these three examples, we come to the conclusion is a fraction in which the numerator is less than the denominator, or in other words, denominator is greater than the numerator. Such kind of the fractions we call it as proper fractions. Second one is improper fractions. Improper fractions. See here, now I would like to show the examples. So the 2 by 1, 5 by 3, 6 by 5, dash dash, ECT, etc. See here, 2 by 1, 5 by 3 and 6 by 5. See now, by observing these three examples, we come to the conclusion is, here the numerator part is greater than the denominator part. Here also 5 is greater than 3 and 6 is greater than 5. From these the examples, our conclusion is the fractions in which numerator is greater than the denominator, or in other words, denominator is less than the numerator. Such kind of the fractions we call it as improper fractions. Third stage is mixed fractions. Mixed fractions. See here, for example, like this, 1 by 2, 2 4 by 5, 6 7 by 8, dash dash dash, etc. See here, it can be read as 1 by 2, 2 4 by 5, 6 7 by 8. Here in the mixed fraction, it is consisting of two parts. One is whole part, another one is fraction part. Here also 2 is the whole part, 4 by 5 is the fraction part. Here 6 is the whole, 7 by 8 is the fraction part. See, the mixed fraction like this form it is. Therefore, the definition of the mixed fraction is a fractions which having whole and the proper fraction, whole and part of the whole. So one is the whole, another one is part of the whole. So therefore, this the types of the fractions we call it as mixed fractions. Here, it's a very simple concept is, one is it is consisting the whole, another one is the proper fraction is there. This combination of the whole and the proper the fraction of the terms, we call it as mixed fractions. So this is the three types and their examples. After this one is, now I am going to be introduce the equivalent fractions. Equivalent fractions. These are the another special types of the fractions. Equivalent. Equivalent fractions. See, in the equivalent fractions, say fractions having the denominator or the numerator, they are multiplied or divided by the same number it is. The same number means the non-zero numbers. For example, so the example 1 by 2 is the fractions. If you divide and multiply to the both numerator and denominator by the same number, I would like to divide it by 2 by 2. Then it gives rise to 1 2s are 2, 2 2s are 4. This is an equivalent fractions. Similarly, 1 by 2 if it is multiplied by 3 by 3, multiplied and divided by 3 by 3, that will gives rise to 3 1s are 3, 2 3s are 6. Similarly, 1 by 2 multiplied and divided by 4 by 4, that is equal to 4 1s are 4, 4 2s are 8. Likewise, we are going to be represent the equivalent fractions. The equivalent fractions, they are having the numerator and denominator, they are multiplied or divided by the same number, that is a non-zero number, non-zero integers we call it as. Such fractions we call it as equivalent fractions. So after the equivalent fractions, so the decimal fractions. Next one more, the special type is decimal fractions. Fractions. See here, now I would like to show by the example is, so 1 by 10, 1 by 10 into 10, 1 by 10 into 10 into 10. Likewise, I am going to write, so if then the denominator is multiple of 10, then such kind of the fractions we call it as decimal fractions. Here decimal means 1 by 10 can be represented by 0.1. So 1 by 100 is represented by 0.01. So here 1 by 1000 is represented by 0.001. Likewise, I am going to be introduce the above fraction form converted into decimal form. So therefore, so these are the different types. So if you have any doubts regarding this the fractions, so please ask the questions.